I know, I know everybody asked me the question. They wanted to know what kind. I know he's gonna wild out and he's gonna do something crazy. Everybody wanted to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Well, guess what? Only like 2 weeks after completing the Red Dead Redemption 1 Platinum, I decided it was time to go for the GTA 4 Platinum. And I played like 10 hours of this last year in August of 2022, and I played like 2 or 3 hours of it when I was like 14. So this game has been on my radar for a long time. I started this Platinum on August 14th and ended it on September 25th, and it was a really long experience. This is as amazing as any other Rockstar game, for sure, but I was kind of burnt out from just playing 122 hours of Red Dead 1, so it was kind of like, I was kind of tired out at that point. But what does make this different is the euphoria physics, which for some reason is still unmatched to this day. And what also makes it different is the 2008 New York setting. It really feels like a time capsule to that era. And let me just say, god fucking damn, the soundtrack from this game is absolutely amazing. Either it be the dreary drums of the main game loading screen, or the pause music from the Ballad of Gay Tony. Like, why did the pause music have to be that good? Also, fun fact, the music I just mentioned is the background track for this video. Not just because it's GTA, but it's like actually good tracks that I love. But it's not just the tracks that I love, it's the vibe of the bustling city that you're in. And what Rockstar is always good at doing is picking out good soundtracks for their game. Especially in GTA games, when you have the radio stations. I did notice that the sound tracks that I heard when I was like 14 wasn't really in this game anymore, because I just kept hearing the same few songs. So I looked it up, and yeah, it is like actually removed from this game when like 2 or 3 years ago. I pretty much knew everything that was going to happen in the Red Dead Redemption 1 plot, and with the fact that it's the same characters, it didn't really feel as new or refreshing. But learning about Nico was really interesting. But he still follows the normal morally gray anti-hero Rockstar protagonist that does bad things for the sake of gameplay, but feels bad for the past and is very dedicated to their family. Now to move on to what you actually clicked on this video for, I was really good at spacing out the grinding between every mission. I would do some races or package jobs or all the wanted missions. It made it less of a chore to do, and I genuinely enjoyed finding the cars, because later on in the game, this guy named Brucey gives you the number of this guy, who gives you the location of cars that you could find. And instead of me just like looking it up, I actually got my real physical in-game map, and I found the cars by myself. I really just did this because the Naked Jakey video did it too. I really wanted to finish all the really big grindy side content in this game. So I started off doing killing all 200 pigeons, or as they're called, street rats in this game. And eventually, after like 4 or so hours, I got it, and I actually recorded myself killing the final pigeon. So here's a footage of that.
Alright, after 7 hours of grinding and staying up until 4 in the morning, I have finally found the last rat. I mean pigeon, whatever it's called. I spent the last 2 days doing this for the same amount of time, around 6 or so hours, and I finally found the last one. I guess the American dream was finding pigeons the whole time. I'm really feeling like the dried out grandma from SpongeBob, and I'm really dead inside right now. But anyways, let's kill this fucker. I'm trying to do it with one hand while I'm holding the camera. Alright, there it is. And I'm waiting for the trophy to pop. And where is it? There we go. And there it is. Fuck my life.
So as you can see, by the end of it, I was really sick of it. So why do developers think this is good side content for their game? I really don't understand it. But I did enjoy exploring Liberty City that tiny bit more though. But like the only thing that was interesting was when I killed a bird, pedestrians would just come out with like shotguns and shoot at me, and I would actually die a few times. And then every time you shot it, especially in Algonquin, there'd be a 1-star wanted level, so I had to escape every time I killed a pigeon. And that was like the only interesting thing that happened over those like 5 or 6 hours of grinding. What's also stupid about this game is you can't keep track of all the birds you killed. So if you want to use the guide I did, that's just straightforward and gets to the point. I listed it in the description, or you can just like look for this video right here. And yeah, if you want to do this stupid trophy, there you go. Soon after that, I did all the stunts, and there was 50 or so in this game. And I got so sick of them at one point that I just straight up quit. But eventually, I finished them. So, but now we have entered the best part of this video, because now we're going to talk about all the fun trophies that are very far in between all the grinding. I did have some fun going for the one-man army trophy, which requires you to escape a 6-star. So basically what I did was I got a 4-star, and then I would go back to my safe house and kill all the cops that came in until I got 6 stars, and then I'll go to my room that goes through the elevator, which they can't enter, and then I'll go to sleep. Then my 6-star would be gone. But when I did that, it didn't pop. So I had to have a new strategy. So my next strategy was going to Africa Tower, and then going back to my safe house, then killing the cops until I got 6 stars, like my last strategy. And then I went to the Helitours helicopters, and I went up and tried to escape it. After like 5 minutes later, the trophy popped, and then I realized that I didn't have to escape it, I just had to survive it, so I could have stayed in my safe house the whole time. But I didn't want to admit defeat, so I got my helicopter and went all the way back to the safe house, and then saved the game, and I successfully escaped a 6-star. So the next trophy is the one called Chain Reaction, and that basically requires you to blow up 10 cars. So I went to the car shop in Albany City, and I got an RPG, and I put all the cars into one tiny room, and then I blew them up. And it was pretty fun seeing the frames drop from that. I thought this trophy would be easy, but it would just not pop, and that is the Rolled Over trophy, which requires you to flip your car over 5 times. At first my strategy was to go to the, what's that place called? The airport, and I would go off the ramps and then like flip it over a few times. That strategy didn't work, so I eventually went to the Swing Set of Death, which if you don't know, is a infamous glitch location where if you like rear your car into the swing set, it'll like fly it over the city. So I did that a few times, and eventually it popped. And now I'm talking about the bane of my existence and the reason these videos even exist, and that is the online trophies. Just like last time, I got Gavin to boost with me. He didn't really play with me as much as he did last time, or like really much at all. And let me just say, even for a Rockstar game, the connection errors were fucking trash, and we even had to quit like one night. This time I didn't just split up the single player and multiplayer trophies, I actually did them together over the story, whenever the story felt monotonous. But it wasn't like this wasn't monotonous either, because if you don't know, the infamous Off-Widershin Petrovic trophy, if I even pronounced that right, you have to win every game mode, and the problem with this trophy is that it is glitchy, and there's 108 races, so that just requires you to have a boosting partner, and then you just like win races over and over again until you completed them all. And unlucky for me, I was one of the unlucky ones, and it didn't pop when I thought I did it. But we'll talk about that later in the video. Luckily, there's only like 5 or 6 online trophies, and they weren't actually really that hard. All they required was stuff like get 20 kills with a pistol in deathmatch, which is easy. All you have to do is just have your partner be there while you shoot them over and over again. And stuff that you get along the way of getting Off-Widershin Petrovic. Of course, there was like one trophy that you had to have like 5 or 6 real-life players for, but it wasn't like Red Dead 1 where you have to get like 10 or 6, and there was like 5 or so of these types of trophies. There was only one, and that was the team player trophy, which requires you to get 5 kills of a different player in a team deathmatch. But the people that I played with last time didn't really give a fuck anymore, so I didn't really have them again. So I went to a bunch of GTA 4 boosting servers on Discord, and eventually I actually got the trophy, but still, it's nothing compared to the Red Dead Redemption 1 trophies. I was a little naughty here with the way I got the Wanted trophy, which requires you to reach the maximum rank for GTA 4 Online. And if you don't know, reaching that is very difficult, But luckily, when I joined the boosting servers on Discord, I found this one guy with a mod menu, and he just dropped all the money for me. But I know, you're probably saying like, hey, that's cheating, but that would just require me to grind anyways, and I would have a bunch of fucking stuff I would have to do, and convoluted guides I would have to follow, like the ones right here. So I didn't want to do that, and luckily I just got the trophy really fast. And the final trophy I'll talk about for the online section of this video is the Fly the Co-op trophy. If you don't have the right partners for this, it'll be very difficult. It's basically like the co-op missions in Red Dead Redemption 1, but luckily I had this one dude who was a freaking pro at it, so we just wiped all 3 of them out in one go. And I got the trophy super easy in just like 20 minutes. And yeah, that's all the trophies I want to talk about for now, at least for the online section. And I'm really glad I got these because this is the reason I did this video in the first place. And I'm really glad I secured the platinum for such an important game. So, is this my favorite GTA game? I mean, it's close, but 5 is pretty much superior in every way. Like with the less formulaic mission designs. And for example, in 4, there's more missions, so it just comes off as more formulaic because you're just doing the same thing over and over again. But in 5, you have something new and fun to do almost every mission. And I don't have to do a bunch of odd jobs for this Italian guy who can't give me this information about this dude that I'm trying to find. It's like Red Dead Redemption 1 all over again. What I can say for sure is that I love the variety of characters in GTA and in Rockstar games in general. Even if I didn't bash how similar they are a few minutes ago. But this is because they all follow similar character traits, but it doesn't mean they aren't unique in their own ways. And Nico is a character I appreciate because having a mainstream video game have a protagonist from a third world country is something I personally have not seen yet, and that makes it way more interesting. I won't lie though, the shooting mechanics in this game are absolute dog ass. It's so stubborn, because you can't just like fucking take your reticle off this dude. You have to like switch in between these guys, and if you're like trying to shoot something that isn't a person, it won't like fucking work. And there isn't any in between over this. You either have it off or you have it on. Luckily in GTA 5 they fixed it, kinda, still pretty bad shooting mechanics. But at the very least, it feels like an actual challenge because there's no checkpoints in this game, so if you die you have to restart the whole mission, and you lose $6,000. So it feels like an actual challenge because most Rockstar games aren't really the most gamey of games. I wish there was more clothing options and customization options in general. It's really just the same variation of recolored trench coat. At least in Red Dead Redemption 1, you have like 16 different costumes to choose from, but they are kind of difficult to obtain. At least in GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, there is good customization, I guess. But a really big problem with Rockstar games is I have nothing to spend my money on. Especially in GTA 4, because I just stole this sports car that was next to my safe house in Algonquin, and I literally have nothing to spend my money on besides ammunition and my next lap dance in a poorly lit room. I found that ending to be really underwhelming, but I think that's just because I chose the bad ending by accident. So you have the choice to either work with Dimitri, who betrayed you earlier in the game, or not, and kill him, basically. So I thought the moral thing to do was to work with Dimitri again because Roman wanted me to, and Nico has a big fat crush on Roman. And I did do that, and then Roman gets killed. And then he killed Dimitri anyways. So I thought that was pretty pointless. So I guess I should have chose the revenge ending, because I guess the game considers that to be the moral choice, like Kate says. But I'm not really sure how both endings pan out, so I'm interested to see if the game makes it feel natural or not. For example, when I killed Francis over Gary, that felt like not just a choice that changes nothing, it changes everything. But I wonder if it's like, if you choose the opposite choice, you'll just go to his funeral instead. But I'm gonna choose the opposite option for my 30-hour playthrough, which is the trophy for the game. And I think that'll be a good motivator, because I get to see the second ending and all the other choices throughout the game. And I just want to bring up that the hardest part of the game was in the final mission, where you're on a speedboat and you have to somehow make it onto Jacob's helicopter in time. And I had to try it again 6 times because there is no checkpoints in this game, and it just would not fucking let me get on in time. But other than that, I consider GTA 4's story to just be okay. I like GTA 5 more, and I like all the main characters in that game too, but GTA 4 has an amazing cast anyways, so. But just because I enjoyed 5 more doesn't mean it's better, It's more of a crowd pleaser, and I think 4 has something more interesting to say, and it poses more interesting questions, so thematically I guess, it's better, even though I'm not really sure it made that much of a statement. I just like the premise more than GTA 5. I do feel I'm too negative on this game though, but that's just probably because I'm playing this for a video and not for entertainment, so I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry. Anyways, all that was left was playing the game in under 30 hours, and luckily I had a watch later playlist of up to 240 videos, so I could watch stuff like The Disturbing CIA Iceberg Part 2, or The Worst Medical Treatments. So at the very least, what this playthrough will provide is an opportunity to see the second ending. And yeah, after 12 hours of doing this, what did I think of it? Well, it was the same exact story, but the minutia of it was different. Because Kate, instead of Roman, dies. And I think anyone would prefer Roman to die. I mean, I think anyone would prefer Kate to die instead. Because she's introduced halfway through the game. You don't really care about her, you don't really see her much. And Roman is there from the beginning. He's loyal, he's awesome. So I think the revenge ending is the best ending for Nico. And I think having Pegorino, the American crime boss, be replaced by Dimitri in the final mission is actually better because it shows that even in America, that Nico will still encounter the same greed and selfishness that he did before. And I think the final shot of the paint to the Statue of Happiness represents that. But the same thing happens in the deal ending, so it's not like it's that much different. I also like and prefer Dimitri being killed in the immigrant boat that Nico even mentions is the one that he came to Liberty City on. It just makes more sense in like a symbolic way, I guess. But what I like about these two endings over, say, something like Red Dead Redemption 2 is that I'm not really sure what Nico would have done. Because in Arthur's bad ending and Red Dead Redemption 2, it feels completely out of character. But for GTA 4, I'm not really sure. But I would most likely see Nico not working with Dimitri again, as he has the morality and ethics of Micah Bell. But Roman telling him to do the deal really makes me unsure of what he would do. Anyways, I'm glad that this game had two endings because it made my second playthrough more bearable. I didn't know if I wanted to do the DLC or not, but I felt like I wasn't truly 100% done with the game until I did. And I was scared that I wouldn't really make the release date for Spider-Man 2, so I'd have to like stop playing GTA 4 over that. And I almost stopped 2 times because of that. And I was already burned out from this game, so it just added more to it. But I did finish The Lost and Damned, so I will give a brief overview over that. So, if you want to know my thoughts on The Lost and Damned, we're about to talk about it. If there was any character I'd like to see have their head stomped in, it would be Johnny. I couldn't for the life of me remember any of the characters besides Johnny and Ashley. And I did think the club was pretty cringe. It felt like first graders trying to act cool. What was interesting to me, though, was the relationship between Johnny, who plays the role of the right-hand man, and then there's the leader that, spoilers, you kill in the end. It reminds me of like a reverse Arthur and Dutch. I really like that the events of the DLC and the main game are interconnected, because if you go to Roman's cab depot in the beginning of the game, it's not burned down, but a few missions later, it is. So it's not just mission stuff that's different, it's smaller stuff like that. Although it was annoying when in the intro you see Nico, when at that point in time Nico wouldn't be able to travel to Alderney because the bridges were closed. And I guess you wouldn't be able to travel around the map either if there was actual continuity between the DLC and the main game. The trophy list was extremely minimalist here. You don't need to get 100%, you don't need to kill all the DLC versions of pigeons, which are seagulls, and all you have to do is just finish the story, get your partners up to 90% toughness, and then whack 69 people off their bike, which is funny because 69, I guess. And that's it. Just 5 bronze trophies. Other than that, there's nothing really to talk about with The Lost and Damned. It was really good as DLC, though. It is like absolutely the peak and pinnacle of what you should do with DLC. But I was just kind of rushing through it because I just wanted to finish it. But I'm actually interested to see what the Ballad of Gay Tony is about, and I'll talk about that right now. The Ballad of Gay Tony was something I enjoyed way more, and that's probably because I knew I had time to finish it, and this was the last piece of GTA 4 content I had. But with how much content it does have, it felt like I was eating dessert after having the most full meal of my life. So I didn't really want to ruin this gourmet cake that I had lying right in front of me. And I already felt like this was The Lost and Damned, but I did finish it, so I didn't really want to do the same thing with the Ballad of Gay Tony. So I quit it, but I guess you should have expected that. I clocked in 8 hours, 29 minutes, and 47 seconds exactly when I played this. And I got 30% on the progress meter. But trophy-wise, the only thing I got was hitting a golf pole 4 times, and that's it. But I'm glad I didn't have to do 80% or higher on all missions, because that is one of the trophies, and it is just a bronze. And I could see some of GTA 5's mission design when I did play it, because it has a checklist of things like that. But other than that, yeah, I will play this someday, that's for sure. So unfortunately, I couldn't track stats in online, but I could in single player. So the stats won't really be that accurate like they were last time. But in total, my total time spent playing on the story and DLC was 108 hours, 2 minutes, and 17 seconds. And I would estimate my online play time was between 40 or 50 hours. So in total, that would probably be like 148 or 158 hours. I know that seems exaggerated, but that is probably about the time I spent in online. And this is actually longer than my previous platinum was, which was 122 hours and something minutes and seconds for Red Dead Redemption 1. So, even though the story and DLC was around the same time, the online was probably longer, I think. So, you want to know what's weird about me? So you could go on the internet in GTA 4, and I have this thing where I have to see everything that the game has to offer, and there's so many websites and fucking things you have to read in this game, and I felt cringe for not reading it, so I still managed to though, so thank you Rockstar for making these things that only I read. And to prove this, that I was on the internet and I read almost every article and thing there was, I spent a total of 5 hours, 10 minutes, and 15 seconds on it. So, there you go. I did say earlier that the final trophy I had to get with the Off-Whiterson Petrovic trophy, and I was thinking I finally finished all races and stuff like that after hours and hours of grinding. And I actually did record when I thought I got the final race, and it's just really sad to see because it didn't pop. But I'll show you the footage, so here you go.
This is it. After 2 months and like 140 hours of hard work, all I have to do is go through this checkpoint, and I think I finally have the platinum trophy. So let's go through it. I hope I got it. This is the Off-Whiterson Petrovic trophy. It's notoriously glitchy, so I hope it actually fucking works. But I've done all 107 races, and I have done every game mode, I've done everything. So, and I have been playing this since like, I've been playing it all day, and it's like 4 in the morning. I'm very manic, because I'm finally about to get this shit, and I hope I did. Please pop, please pop, please pop.
So not only did I have to replay boats and helicopters, which was like 35 races maybe, it added so much more playtime to this, and I was just waiting for it to pop, and it didn't. But eventually, after finishing the final race of helicopters, I got it, which is ironic because it was literally the final race. And it's unfortunate I couldn't record my victory, but I did manage to snap this little photo of when I got the platinum trophy. So it could have been worse. I only had to do like 4 hours of grinding, and I know that might seem sarcastic, but it could have been any of all 108 races, so I got lucky that it popped. And yeah, that's all I had to talk about for the platinum trophy. Now the real question you've been asking the whole video is, would I recommend getting the platinum for this game? Yes, or at least the online trophies for this and Red Dead Redemption 1. But it seems like Rockstar is doing nothing with these online modes, so it might not go away anytime soon. But they are pretty unpredictable with what they do with the game, because GTA 5 and Max Payne 3 online is down for the PS3. But Red Dead 1's online might be down after a few months of the PS4 port being out. So I would expect that to happen, so get the trophies as fast as you can. But anyways, I am so glad I got the platinum for GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1 in only like 3 or so months. It did kind of leak into the school year, because I was just trying to make this a summer thing, but I did get it, so. If I had to rank all Rockstar Platinums, I would put Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 1, and I think it deserves the 8 out of 10 difficulty instead of GTA 4. Because in Red Dead Redemption 2, you have to do an ungodly amount of hunting, getting 70 gold medals, finishing all the challenges, doing a crazy amount of stuff for 100% completion, finishing the longest Rockstar campaign in general, and grinding your life away on Red Dead Online. And these things aren't in GTA 4, thank God. And that's why it deserves first place. Now, if I had to put second place, it would be Red Dead Redemption 1. But that's only if you're doing the PS3 version and all the DLC trophies. Because there's so much online trophies for the DLC and in the main game that makes it really hard. But if you were doing the PS4 port, the shitty PS4 port, if I might add, it would probably be number 3. And I'll put GTA 4 at number 2 if you're playing the PS4 version. Because you have to speedrun the story in 30 hours, and there is online trophies. But if there is ever a PS4 version of GTA 4, there probably won't be online. So if you want to see how I got Red Dead Redemption 1's Platinum, with crazy requirements for online and in the story, you could click the link in the description, or just go on my channel and find it. I hope this video was better than the Red Dead Redemption video, because in that video, my eyes aren't even looking at the camera, and my delivery is so mundane. So since I pointed these things out, I hope you hate it too. But I think my speech is too fast in this video, to be honest. But anyways, since I have 2 of these videos under my belt, I could make this a series, because I have some ideas for future installments, but it's not going to be like the only thing I do, so don't expect that. And yeah. But anyways, if you want to check out my trophies, my PSN is Butternuts5554, and that's about it.
So yeah,